What's up, man? I can't hear you, brother.
Hey,
I can hear Lorraine. Can you hear me?
I can hear Steve, but I can't hear Troy.
Right, I can't. I'll send him a message. How are you, girl?
I'm great. How are you?
Ba-da-ba-bum.
Da-da-da-da-da. Where are you, Steve?
I'm in my studio,
Cool.
Jersey.
Cool. I'm in LA. I'm in my hotel.
Nice. How did the video premiere go last
It,
night?
it was really great. It was a really great turnout, and people were really stoked and excited and couldn't believe how great it looks. I mean, it looks like, a very expensive video.
I know. So great.
That's what we do. We serve
Hell
it up.
yeah. That's it.
So now it's just pushing and pushing and getting the word out and all that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
getting people to share and all that stuff.
I'm just checking to see if you guys can hear me.
Yeah, we can.
Look at that. All right. We just had a change in input. And here we are now. We are live on this, that, and the other radio show, by the way, at dirtyradio.fm, channel 2 Dirty Radio Classic. And we are simulcasting on the YouTube channel and the Facebook if everything else is working. I want to, first of all, thank you for coming on the show and doing this. I'm excited about the new Femme Fatale tune.
Excited to be here. Thanks for having us. Stoked.
Yeah, Troy, great. Thanks for letting me in, man.
Of course. Last time I saw your beautiful faces was just a month or so ago here in sunny. Actually, it was like typhoon season here in Las Vegas, right? That never happens. For that private party that we had for the Peruvians. And it was great to see you both. Lorraine, great to play with you for the first time. No rehearsal. We just kind of winged it or wung it, as they say, just like I do this radio show each and every Wednesday. But tell me a little bit about the times and the memories now post Peruvian party show you guys have about that.
Great time. Great time. It was great playing with you, Troy. I had a blast. I think that Steve probably opened the door for me with that one. So I thank Steve. I mean, Steve is always opening doors for me. He's like the best friend I could ever have. He's like a big brother, but I think I'm the older one in the group. I don't use that word, but I think I'm the older hot sister. But anyway, I think that Steve opened up the door for me on that one. So thank you, Steve. But we had a great time. And like you said, Troy, we just got it together. I was walking through the door. There was a typhoon. I was holding on to my weave, but it all worked out. It was a blast.
Hey, Steve, I want to give you condolences to your buddy, your hero, somebody that you worked with intently and intensely, Mr. Ace Frehley, Spaceman, on the 10,000 Volts album. From what I understand, you were at the service, and I just wanted to see if we don't get too heavy on here, but I wanted to see if you wanted to weigh in on some thoughts and how things have been now that a few days have passed, and what it's like, from somebody that worked with him so closely, putting out that fantastic album.
Yeah, thank you for that. Very, very sad times, It was a tragic ending for Ace. Didn't expect it. And, still, I mean, we're all still grieving. I was just on the phone before with Jeremy, Ace's guitar player, and we were, sort of commiserating, but it almost doesn't feel real, I mean, I'm looking around my studio. I still have some, I have stuff around and stuff that we were working on. I got guitars that he gave me and stuff. And, we were set to start, in a couple months working on the follow-up to 10,000 Volts. I mean, I'd already sent him a couple ideas, but that's not to be, sadly. And, I miss my buddy already. I miss the stupid text back and forth. And again, it still almost doesn't feel real. And but I was lucky enough to be able to go to the wake and pay my last respects to him, and I got to say some heartfelt things to him, because the guy, being my first guitar hero, and the guy, like I've always said that it was Kiss and Van Halen were the two bands that changed my life forever, and becoming friends with Ed Van Halen and Ace Frehley, I feel so blessed, and they both kind of got, they left us too early, I think. And Ace, again, it's just one of those things where I think it's a lesson to all of us to cherish every day, because you never know when your time is gonna come, and your card, as my dad said, sometimes that's when your card gets pulled, Stevie boy. And sadly for Ace, that's the way it was. But it was a beautiful, beautiful wake. The priest said some wonderful things about Paul Daniel Frehley, and really, for me, I've known Ace for a long time, but over the last couple of years, we've become so tight and telling each other things that most people don't know. And, him just being here, I still feel his spirit all the time, because he was here, and he lived about 45 minutes away from me. So we would work at his place and then work at my place. And, it really was fabulous. But I thanked him more than anything. I thanked him for just being a great guy, and deep down, look, we all have our flaws, and it's, his has been well documented, but deep down in his heart, he was a great guy. And some of the best moments I had were right here, where I'd cook him dinner upstairs, and it would be just me and him, or he'd be down here doing card tricks for my daughters. He was a really, really special guy. In the world, the music world lost a rock and roll superhero, and that's for sure. But the music and his character will live on forever. So God bless Ace, and thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, 100%. Is there any chance that there's anything unreleased from those sessions that you did with him that might see the light of day? And
yeah, I mean, there are a couple things that we didn't get to finish. So, again, that's not really up to me. I'm still very much in contact with the record label, and we'll see. I got to believe that in a couple months there has to be some sort of tributes to him, musically. And I know Eddie Trunk and I have already talked about, and Eddie's talked about it many times, about a memorial show. So that's definitely going to happen at some point. But it's, right now it's still too fresh, and we're all still grieving. And I'm still, of course, we all feel for his daughter Monique, and Jeanette and Lara, all of his his family and close friends.
Yeah, right on. And as a singer, songwriter, producer, engineer, working with Ace the way you did, you have that relationship with Lorraine. How did you guys get together? And is it just for the Bad Love tune? We're going to talk about that, but how did this, you guys known each other for years, or how did you guys get together? Because I think when an artist gets together with another artist, kind of like Ace putting, his career kind of in your hands, Lorraine's doing the same thing with this single, right? How does that work? How does that work?
Go ahead, Lorraine.
Well, here's the thing. I trust Steve for many, many reasons. Number one, Steve has gotten to be a really good friend to me. He's a cheerleader for me. He gets me. God, I'm getting kind of emotional. Don't do that. But yeah, Steve just believes in me. Like, he thinks I'm cool, and I'm good, and I'm talented. And, sometimes as an artist, you forget that sometimes. And so he reached out to me. Steve, I don't know if I reached out to you or you reached out to me a year ago. I don't know how it all went down, but I just remember the words, "Let's make a record." That's exactly what you said. Hey, let's make a record. I think that's exactly what you sounded like.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Lorraine, the cool thing in getting, talking about Ace was, you called me and texted me right after, 10,000 Volts was released, the Ace record. And you were like, I want that. And, you know, and you know, look, I've always been a fan. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I've always been a fan since day one. And then you and I, remember we jammed on the Monsters of Rock cruise, and you know, look, your energy is infectious. And I knew that we would make a great team. And again, I gave you the same speech that I gave Ace. I said, if you trust me and you listen to me and we work together, and I, of course, will listen to you, I promise you, we will make a great record. And we started with one song, Troy. That was the first single, Living Like There's No Tomorrow. And that was proof right there that we were off to the races and that we're on track to make a great record. And now here we are, single number 2, Bad Love. And I mean, from what I see, everybody is loving it.
That's awesome, because you know, Lorraine was on this show when she parted ways with Vixen. Mm-hmm. Lorraine, did that open up the door for you to bring back Femme Fatale and start writing new material?
It did. It reminded me, it brought me back to who I am. You know, I mean, I had a great time with those girls and great memories. And I did my part and I did my job and I gave my everything for them. And then, you know, to not be with that anymore, to go full circle and like, oh, okay, like, what am I supposed to do now? It's like, oh, you just need to be you again. And so that's what I'm doing. And Steve allows me to be that, you know, which is like, it just feels really good. I just feel like I don't have anybody telling me what I can and cannot do, which feels great. I can really be myself, which I'm a lot of different people in the course of a day. I have a lot of different personalities, but Steve seems to get me on so many levels. And he, you know, because I mean, he's a front person. He's a rock star. Like he like kind of gets all the quirks and stuff, right? And he really knows how to talk with me. And he's super positive, which I am too. But he just keeps the focus. And I love working with him. I can't say enough.
Tell me about who's in the band, because the video's got, we see Sean McNabb, and then you have on drums, who I met for the first time at the Peruvian party. That's Nick Mason, yeah?
Yeah, so actually Steve brought Nick in because, you know, the recording band and the musicians, you know, Steve knows everybody and everybody knows Steve. So I've been really fortunate to have Steve making phone calls on my behalf and bringing people in. You know, he brought in Bumblefoot for the most killer, sick, slaying, sexy lead in the song Bad Love that just got dropped at midnight. And it's really sexy and awesome. And I'm like just so happy and stoked that he's on the song, you know. But Steve has brought in some heavyweights for the recording, you know, Joey Casada on drums, Sean McNabb on bass. And then when it came time to do the video, Bumblefoot was in Jakarta, couldn't make the video. Joey was on tour. And so, you know, I luckily Steve agreed to be in the video because he was here for the Rainbow Bar and Grill party, the Backyard Bash. Mm-hmm. And I asked him if he could stay 1 or 2 more days so he could be in the video, because he and David Julian played the rhythm guitars on it and background vocals, etc., and wrote the song with me and David. So I really wanted him to be in the video. And it was fun. It was hotter than hell, though, right? I mean, we used real fire. That wasn't CGI. It was real.
It was hot. It was hot, but it was fantastic. And, you know, again, it comes down to, you know, Troy, it comes down to music. You know, let's forget how cool the video is and everything, but none of this matters. And that's what I love about Lorraine, because, you know, she understands songs, you know. And that was, you know, getting back to the Femme Fatale record, the original, you know, Lorraine and I were label mates on MCA Records. And I remember hearing that record and going, man, there's some, you know, back in 88 or whatever, when that first record came out, and going, there's some really good songs, you know. And, you know, just so people know, we've remade Falling In and Out of Love. We did a re-record of that for this new record. And we did Waiting for the Big One, you know, which were great songs. So, you know, again, Lorraine and I just have a perfect sort of working relationship to where, you know, the ideas, she'll come to me with a song title or whatever, and instinctively I know what to do, and likewise, you know. And it's amazing what you can do with these phones nowadays, you know, how you send voice memos and, you know, literally, and I do this with other artists as well. It's just, you know, it really has sped up the creative process, and but more importantly, we speak the same language, and that's the most important thing when it comes to making a record. And trust, you know, because sometimes there are ideas, and Lorraine is, as you see, she's full of ideas and always going, and I got to kind of reel her in and say, whoa, 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 let's bring this back. And that's my job. And that's, you know, look, I had to do the same thing with Ace, and I had to do it with other artists that I produce. And that's the job of being a producer. But again, you know, my whole thing comes down to, you know, every song being great, you know, because I'm still a big believer, as much as we live in this singles streaming world, I'm still old school. Lorraine is. I think you are too, Troy. I still love an album. I love the magic of it. It brings me back to when I was a kid, listening to Kiss records and Van Halen and Bon Jovi and Def Leppard, getting that record and reading the credits and seeing the pictures, you know. And I still believe our fan base and our core audience, they still love that too. So, you know, we're on track. We've got about 6 songs done for the record now. And, you know, I have my good friend Bruno Ravel from Danger Danger, who's been mixing the songs and just taking it sonically to another level. And
So good.
I
Yeah.
couldn't be, you know, again, we have this team, and, you know, and Troy bringing in the different musicians. You know, I always like to bring my friends in, you know, and have everybody play on it, because I think, you know, little things, you know, a different drummer on each song adds a different sound, you know, and a different feel. And I think that certain drummers and certain bass players, you know, Sean's been a staple. He's played on, you know, most of the records so far, and that's been really great. But, you know, just again, it's enjoying being able to make these records, and again, doing it not like we did in the old days. And I'm so thankful that we, you know, and Troy, you were there, and Lorraine, you know what it was like, the big budget major labels going to Sound City for a month, and, you know, the Enterprise, and spending stupid money. Now you make records where people aren't even in the same room. But it's incredible how we make it all. And I think the key of all of that and making it sound like a band is the personalities, getting the right people that know this style of music. And that's what we try to do.
And the trust.
Yeah.
Well,
It really does come down to trusting. You know, like when I go into the studio, and I always know, Steve always says, make sure you get lots of ad-libs, like out there, like just lots of stuff. And I just give him what he wants. And then he magically makes it sound great. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's the trust thing, you know?
Well, that's one thing that kind of stood out to me with what you said there, Steve, at the beginning of that, is that you have to go to her and reel her in. You have to be able to, in some ways, maybe not hurt her feelings, but to be able to go, hey, yo, you're on a leash. And she has to have that faith in you, knowing that if you're stopping her from something that's getting out of the realm, that she knows it's for her best interest and the best interest of the song. And that's an interesting tactic to be able to, or an interesting skill to have. And I mean, have you run into any artists, Steve, that you know, your technique, or, you know, the technique of a producer, where sometimes you gotta be a little harsh and go, no, we gotta go this way, where it was not so well received? Or do you have the relationships with the artist to know that, hey, we're all in this for the greater good, and even though I feel this, I know that you're going to take me to the finish line?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's always happened. I mean, you know, in every project that I've done, you know, there are always going to be things. And look, I'm a Jersey guy. I can be very blunt, you know, and I say things sometimes, and, you know, that people don't like, but I don't do that for my own good. When I'm working with artists, this is for our good, the greater good of the record. And you got to trust 35 years of making records, you know, and like I told Lorraine, and I tell Ace, and I tell everybody, I said, you need to trust me, because I have your best interest at heart. And I truly do, you know. And if there are people who don't want to listen to me, luckily, Troy, I'm able to say, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to work with you, and that's one of my, that's a protocol that I have with anybody. Look, at the end of the day, I'm the producer and you have to listen to me. Yes, as an artist, I will listen and try, but it's my job and especially when you're dealing with a record company. And that's also, another thing, that I deal with the record labels and, with whether it's with Trixter, whether it's with another band I had, Tokyo Motor Fist, or with Lorraine's thing, because I was very instrumental in getting the deal with Cleopatra. And so I have a direct relationship with them. So my responsibility is also to the label that's releasing the stuff. So it's that's the way we do it. And luckily Lorraine is awesome, and she again, it's trust, and knowing, and at the end of the day, look, man, like I told her and I tell everybody, I want to have fun making records. I don't want if it's not fun for me, I'm not going to do this. I don't have to do this. And look, let's be real. We're not getting rich making these records. We do this because we have to. I still make records. I mean, I have piles of paper from numerous projects I'm working on. Every day I come down here. I don't come down here to work because I have to. I come down here because I want to. And it's like breathing for me. I have to make music and create music. And I love doing it with other artists that feel the same passion. And Lorraine is certainly that way.
Well, and then the one word that comes after the word music is the word business, and so that's a very important part of what we're all trying to do here.
Sure.
Earlier in the show we had mentioned when you guys came on about seeing each other here in Vegas for that live gig, and Lorraine, you've been off the road for quite a bit, but now you got another single out, another video. Looks like you're getting a lineup together. Are you dipping your toes back into the live scene, and are we going to see you out there on some of the festivals and stuff next year?
Look, the stage is really my home. And I've said this before in podcasts and interviews, that's where I'm most comfortable. That's where I know exactly who I am. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what my job is. I feed off the people. I love revving everybody up, and I love getting everybody to throw their fists in the air. That's what I do. I feel most comfortable on stage. The real life stuff is a little more challenging for me. But it really is. So I'm jonesing to get back on the road. I will say that yesterday, before going to the release party, I did get an email about some shows in March that I was given the thumbs up on. And so I'm not going to say anything about it just quite yet. But I'm going to be out on the road. So I'm looking forward to it. I'd love to have some dates in 2026 and 2027. And, there's some other singles and things that we have cooking that I think is going to open up some doors for some surprises. Let's just put it that way. I think that there's some fun stuff around the corner. So look, I'm a big believer in, you never know what's around the corner, and it's always dropping, even the Vegas, I was like, I'm going to Vegas to go perform, for a couple of nights. It was amazing. So you just never know what's around the corner. I go to bed every night saying something amazing is going to happen to me tomorrow. I just know it. And I wake up in the morning saying, I know something amazing is going to happen for me or with me or to me or whatever today. And I'm telling you, every day, something amazing happens. And it might be just the smallest thing, but it might be the biggest thing, And so, I believe in knowing that the best is right there upon all of us. I mean, we just have to open our eyes and look.
That's amazing. I mean, that's a great vibe. And I think, there's that saying, you put stuff out in the universe, and the energy, and, not to get too deep into that stuff, because I'm not, but I think that plays a lot into it. Because, I mean, if anything, your psyche, if you've got a bad attitude about it and you don't think anything's going to happen, you're not inclined to do anything to perpetuate something good happening. If you do have some live shows coming up next year, or when you have some live shows coming up next year, what might, if you could speculate, what might make up the set? What could we hear? Is it all Femme Fatale? You've got a history with Vixen. might a couple songs from Vixen come in? You know, these new songs from this new recording?
I mean, I would love to do Living Like There's No Tomorrow. I'd love to do Bad Love. I'd love to do the new ballad that we have cooking right now that we haven't recorded it completely. It's not finished, but I'm loving the ballad. You know, and some surprise guests, hopefully too. So yeah, that's a great question. I need to get my notebook out and start figuring that shit out.
Yeah.
So you guys right now are kind of living in a singles world where you guys have just kind of doing one song at a time. Is that where you're at?
Well, dropping them. I mean, we have, like Steve said, we have like 6 or 7 songs that are ready to go. But dropping them. And, you know, I think that that's a really great strategy for building me back and into the scene and like feeding people me again. Here we are a couple months later, and you're going to get fed Femme Fatale and Lorraine Lewis again. And in a few more months, you're going to get it again. And that is just kind of a different approach, at least for me. And I think that it's a smart one because you can release something and it be forgotten in a couple of weeks. And so I'm kind of always in your face. I'm that girl that will never go away. So get used to it. Yeah.
And that was definitely a strategic move that you know, we came up with Cleopatra, you know, that we wanted to kind of make the record and release singles as we go, as opposed to the old school way of finishing the record and then pick out 2 singles, do the videos, and then release the record, release the singles, and then 2 weeks later, everybody forgets about it because there's 5 other records that come out. So this way, we're, you know, every 8 weeks, every 10 weeks, we have a new song coming out. And then when the record's done, and luckily Cleopatra, you know, Brian and the crew over there have been so supportive, and they know, you know, and each song speaks for itself, you know, the quality. And the videos that Lorraine has put together are just, you know, I mean, this new one, I mean, it looks like $1 million MTV video, you know, that we shot. So there's a quality level, and, you know, and it's only going to get better. So I think, you know, in another 8 weeks, we'll probably have another single out, and then we'll be really close to figuring out, you know, probably, hopefully by February or March, that we were able to announce and have the final record ready for release.
Right on. That's exciting stuff. I mean, think about it, 2025, brand new Femme Fatale, you know, and, you know, Steve, you work with a lot of people, helping them with their stuff, Femme Fatale, Ace, you know, and I know you have Tokyo Motor Fist that you do. Obviously, you're out there working Trixter and stuff. No. So, I'd love that project, by the way. I think it's or band. I mean, I don't know. Do you call it a project or a band? Does something feel more sometimes like a project versus a band?
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those frontier super groups, if you will. But it was luckily, you know, the only way I was going to do it, because, you know, those frontier bands, they have so many of them, you know, and I think George Lynch is in like 10 of them. But you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I was like, man, if we're going to do this, I want to be able to play live and have it be like a real band. So luckily, you know, all the guys, Ted Poley, Greg Smith, Chuck Berge, they all are, you know, tri-state area people. So we went on the cruise and we played some shows. Actually, Tokyo Motor Fist and that record was kind of the reason how I got hooked up with Ace. Because his people were going, you know, John Astronomy and Lara, his girlfriend, his fiance at the time, and Phil Dealey, who was our guitar tech, bass tech back in the day with Trixter. They were raving and just saying, this record's so good, you got to work with Ace. And we Tokyo Motor Fist wound up opening some shows for Ace. And that's how that whole thing spun in motion. But, you know, needless to say, that's, you know, Tokyo Motor Fist, those 2 records that we made, and especially the last one, Lions, I definitely consider that one of my crowning achievements, if you will, as an engineer, producer, artist, songwriter. You know, that's really me in like super Mutt Lang mode, you know, doing that. So I'm so proud of that. But you know, on the Trixter front, you know, I have a whole new record, 15 songs written, pretty much 75% ready to go. But we're working on a documentary about PJ and myself, you know, that we've been working on for the last year. And that's sort of my vision. Our vision with that is going to be having a new Trixter record along with this very, very cool documentary that is really taking shape. And it's not a Trixter documentary. It's a documentary of myself and PJ Farley, my bass player, who I've been playing with for close to 40 years now. And it's the story of us, our journeys together and apart, because we play in different bands. PJ plays with Fozzy, with Chris Jericho, and we've done so many separate things, but we always come back together because we're, you know, we're brothers. We're closer than, you know, I mean, I've spent more time with PJ than I have with anybody else on this planet over the last 40 years. So, you know, it's very special. But, you know, as you know, time and life, to juggle all these things, it takes time. And right now the focus is, you know, getting the new Femme Fatale record done. And, you know, and most importantly, I don't care if it takes another year, everything's got to be great. And that's, you know that, Lorraine, that's my promise to you and to Cleopatra and all the fans, that we're going to make something that people are going to talk about and want to listen to every day.
I'm in good hands. What did I tell you, Troy? I'm in really good hands. I mean, I love the guy. What can I say?
No, it's awesome. It's cool. It you know, keeps the motor running, and then you head out on the highway, right? You know, hey, real quick, Steve, you mentioned this documentary with you and PJ, which, by the way, alumni guest on this, that, and the other radio show. So you're in a safe space. But you know, this documentary where Trixter, you know, kind of even though your career and all the things you do are beyond that, that's kind of the start for many of us. That's how we know you.
Yeah.
Any chance on these new songs that there's a Pete or a Mark involved in that? Or are you guys just kind of you and PJ and going out there with Ben and doing this touring schedule that you've been doing the last couple of years? Any chance we see those two guys be a part of this down the road ever?
Pete, possibly. You know, one of the songs that I worked up is one of the ones that never made the first Trixter record that should have, a song called Just Once Again. All the fans will know. Wow. And but no, I don't think so, man. You know, I haven't even gotten to that point yet, but we're focused on this new thing, and you've seen what I do singing and playing, and I think it speaks for itself. You know, and the fact that me and PJ and Ben are out there, you know, Ben is our, you know, he's a great drummer and he's a great singer. When it comes to the record, we haven't even gotten to that point where I think I'm probably going to wind up using numerous drummers on the record. We did the next Trixter recording that people are going to hear, which we just finished and Bruno is mixing right now, is we're on a tribute record that Cleopatra's putting out. I can't tell you what it is right now, but it's going to be the first new Trixter recording that people hear. And it's just PJ and I. PJ played the drums and bass on it, and I did everything else. And wow. I am so proud of it. It was a huge challenge. It's by a very famous late 70s, early 80s soft rock band who's still out there today crushing it. One of my favorite bands. And my good friend, Eric Baker, who at Primary Wave and along with Cleopatra, they bestowed on me one of the band's biggest hits, and was kind of like, oh my God, it literally gave me a little bit of a nervous breakdown doing it, but I'm so happy because it came out phenomenal, and I can't wait for the world to.
Right on. I'm spinning the Jeopardy theme. I'm like, I'm trying to think of who this might be. and is something coming out maybe next year then? Is that the plan?
I think so, yeah. And I can't wait though. And the mix is going to be done soon. So, you know, soon I'll certainly share it with you guys. But, you know, again, these are the cool things. And, you know, look, I'm not in any rush with Trixter or with anybody. I don't want to rush. It has to be great. And that's where it comes in, to where, you know, I'm very much a perfectionist, and Lorraine knows that. And it's not about speed. It's about making sure that everything is great. And I think, you know, I think that we owe it to the fans, because there's a lot of, in my opinion, there's a lot of bands that kind of half-ass it when it comes to making records, and they just piss out whatever. And it really, I think it shows. I don't need to name names, because that's really doesn't matter, but everybody has their own movie. But, you know, my attitude with everything, I want this music to stand the test of time. And with Ace 10,000 volts, you know, it's crazy to say it, but there was a time when we finished the record that I said to Ace, I said, hey man, if we never make another record again, at least we have this as a perfect bookend for your career. The 78 solo record and ending on 10,000 volts at a quality level that's right at the top, you know, because the fans all around the world have revered 10,000 volts as one of his best. And nothing makes me happier than to hear that. And I know Ace was so happy when he heard the final mixes. He was driving around his car. He would call me and say, Steve, this is unbelievable, man. I can't believe how great this record came out. And that's what it's all about. And the same goes with Lorraine, you know, and that's what we're enjoying right now with the release of Bad Love, baby.
Bad Love.
Yeah, we're actually, before we let you go, I'm going to spin the video. And for those listening at Dirty Radio Classics, they'll hear it for the first time. Is that, hang on, let's zoom in on that. What do we got? That is that the lyrics right there?
Those are my hand typed lyrics for the song, and you can buy these right now, auction for $10,000. So
10,000 volts and $10,000. But yeah, we'll spin the video here on the channel. We'll spin it. It is on all the YouTubes and the Facebooks and all that good stuff. You know, we're doing a Halloween themed show. What do you got there, Mr. Brown?
It's the guitar that my SPS guitar that I used in the video.
He did.
Right on. We're going to see that when we spin it before I let you guys go. But, you know, we're doing a Halloween themed show today. Do you Steve's auction. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful guitar, and you play it well, my friend. Do you guys have any either Halloween stories or favorite Halloween songs? And after I let you go, after we spin the Bad Love video, play the song for those tuned in and turned up at Dirty Radio Classics, any Halloween voodoo you guys are getting into this weekend? Lorraine, you take it first.
All I know is that I have 3 Playboy Bunny outfits to
only 3.
I'm not even kidding. Well, because I ordered one and I didn't think it had gotten delivered, and so I ordered 2 more. So I have 2 black ones. I'm ridiculous. So I have 2 black ones and 1 white one. But I need somebody with me to put it on, because I tried to wear it last night to the release party, and it's complicated. I need somebody helping me get in and out of it. So I don't know that that's going to happen, but I think I'm going to go see, on Halloween, I'm going to go see Zach Sabbath perform.
There you go. Cool.
Yeah.
Those are my plans.
Right on. What about you, Steve? Are you a Halloween guy? It's my favorite holiday of the year. This is my favorite show to do every year, because I get to play some cool, rare collaborations like Dio with Steve Lukather doing Welcome to My Nightmare. I try to play weird, cool covers of Halloween themed songs. What about you? You got any Halloween stuff for the kids this weekend?
I'm home. So yeah, I'm just hanging out. You know, we have cabbage night, which is the night before Halloween. So I got to stand out in my yard to make sure my house doesn't get egged. And, you know, but yeah, Halloween, just, you know, my daughter, I have a 12-year-old daughter, soon to be 13. What do they call her? A tweenager. She's right there. Yeah. So yeah, big Halloween this year. I got all the lights outside, all the colored lights, and I usually bring out my smoke machine, all my band stuff. I put it out there, and
all the stuff from the videos back in the day. You can use them again.
Yeah. If you saw my garage, it's like, you know, SIR in there. But yeah, that's it, man. Just gonna hang, you know, just hang home and, you know, give candy to the kids. You know, back in the day, I used to, when I first moved into the house, I used to give all the kids Trixter CDs and cassettes. And then I remember a couple years after that, one kid came out, he goes, "Huh?" I gave him candy, and he went, "What? No more CDs for Halloween?" I'm like, "Come on, kid, that was a special year. I had a box of extra CDs left over." These kids expect, we were lucky back in the day if you got one mini, Milky Way. Now kids
Right?
are expecting, Amazon gift cards and stuff like
iPhones.
that. Yeah.
I wonder how many Ace Frehley and Ozzy Osbournes, and I hope I see a billion of them this
I
year.
hope so.
I'm hoping to see
Yeah, I
that.
think so too.
I
love it.
So.
I said that over the weekend at our Trixter shows. I told everybody, I said, everybody out there, you and your kids, you better put on the Ace makeup for Halloween. So I think I'm going to actually try to do that this year, in honor of Ace and to remember him. And, I remember in third grade, my first Halloween costume was Gene Simmons. So, though just bring Halloween was just it's always such a great time. And, here in Jersey, and I live on the New York State border, the foliage and the leaves, it's fall time is so beautiful.
Best time of year.
Yeah, it is. It's really magical. And then, I round third base, and I start next month, in another month, I start my Christmas Wizards of Winter tour, where I turn into a Christmas rock and roll wizard, if you will. And I put on my tuxedo, my velvet tuxedo jacket, and play, hard rock Christmas music.
That's awesome. That's super cool, man. Super busy. And, it just says a lot that, when I see you, Steve, this vibe that you put out, you're a fun guy, you're a super funny guy. But when it comes down to the music and it comes down to the engineering, you don't mess around. And I think people like Lorraine, Ace, others that you've worked with, they see that in you. It's a fun environment, but when we're working, we're working.
Yeah. I mean, that, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, but I always say, what, you spend so much time together. And even though Lorraine and I don't spend that much time in person together, we spend so much time talking, texting, video stuff and doing it, that, what, if you're going to be stuck, for me, if I'm going to be stuck in the studio for 8 hours a day, I want to have fun. And I want to have fun with the people I'm making music with. And I want to have fun making the music that we all love. And there's nothing like melodic hard rock music, as far as I'm concerned. Still the greatest music ever. Thank you and good night.
That's a way to cap an interview. Is there anything before I play the Bad Love video and we simulcast it over the radio show portion at Dirty Radio Classics? Anything else I missed? Any final words?
I would just like to say to Steve, from the bottom of my heart, I love you, and I thank you so much for believing in me, number one. And we're having fun. We are making great music, and this song just kills it. Like, it just kills it. I want to thank Bumblefoot for coming in. The song features him. I want to thank Joey Casada, and just everybody, David Julian, Sean McNabb, Nick Mason, my fire girls that were so great. Eva Angelina, who came in, and a real firefighter and an adult film star, a friend of mine, and she killed it. She's a real firefighter. She's in the video. She did her thing. And I'll tell you, that water hurt, by the way. That's all I'm going to say. That water was full force. So, but we had a great time. All the people that put me together, the hair and makeup, and just all the friendships, and Rocket, my assistant. And I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. I mean, it takes a lot of people to make all of this work. And I just appreciate each and every one of them for all the love and confidence in what we're doing and trying to bring to the masses. So love it.
Steve Brown, you have the baton.
Oh, man, she said it all. That's it, man. Cleopatra Records. We love everybody over there for
love them.
Doing such a great job. And this is only the beginning. This is only the second single. So, I think I told Lorraine, sorry, I wanted to make this, let's have this record like Hysteria, to where there's 7 singles and then the record comes out, But you know, that's the cool thing about nowadays. You know, look, it's not like the old days. We're not fighting to get radio play on, you know, Z100, these big radio stations. We're just, you know, having fun finding new ways to market the music and get it out there. But again, you know, the most important thing, it starts with a great song, and that's what we're doing, one song at a time, and just trying to do the best we can, and boom, knock it out of the park every time.
Knock it out of the park. And I will say to all the friends and fans of us and the music, you know, thank you so much for sharing with your friends, and streaming and liking and hearting and forwarding and all this stuff. Just keep it going, because it is a different deal than what it was back in the day with the machine. It's a different kind of machine, and it's really up to us, the people, to you like something, you got to tell your friend, and they got to tell their friend, and then you got to heart it and like it and forward it and all this stuff. So everybody jump on. This is a rock and roll family. It's a rock and roll tribe, and I'd love you all to be a part of it. So thank you.
Is this where I go like and subscribe? I'm not a YouTuber, so I don't even know what I'm doing here, but I appreciate you guys coming. You guys both look beautiful. And Lorraine, how do we find you to see what's up before the last quarter of this year ends and we get into next year when you take the stage again? How do we find you?
So a couple ways. I'm on Instagram a lot. So that's Lorraine Lewis Rocks on Instagram. And then my website is lorraineLewisRocks.co, not com, but there's always updated news on there. And I'm newly on OFTV. That's a safe for work platform. It's much like YouTube, but it's a part of the OnlyFans family. And it is safe for work. It's basically just a fun content, like behind the scenes stuff that I'm able to post on there. So I have a team of people that I'm working with on there. And I have some stuff, you know, I have a lot of stuff cooking all the time. I like television. I like entertaining. I consider myself a performer and an entertainer before anything else. And that's what's happening. So yeah, you can find me. Message me on Instagram. I always message back. It might take me a day, but I message everybody.
No, and you were great. And thanks for when I saw the release ending up on a Wednesday when I air this show live, I was like, God, can you guys come on and talk about this? I appreciate it. Steve Brown, how do we find you?
Oh, my number, right? 867-5309. Isn't that it?
I got it.
Steve Brown Rocks, man, everywhere on all the socials. And, you know, you can also try my, the bat phone, if you will.
You know, Steve, Steve, I tried to tag you in the post today, and I went and I looked up do you have a Facebook page? Because I tried to put it in there, and no, you don't, because I couldn't access it. So then I felt like, did Steve Brown block me for some reason?
No, I mean, the Trixter Facebook is where you get me, but right. I do have like 2 Facebooks that are used for something else. Like they're not active. I had to have them for something. I was actually in a day trading group with trading stocks, which I had to have that. So it's funny, but yeah, no, I'm not really active. The Trixter is my Facebook, but I'm mostly Instagram, TikTok, X, and you know, and right here with you, Troy Patrick Fowle, my man. I love you. I want to change my name, but I want to go to Stephen James Brown because I love the 3-name thing,
dude. And it's got the James Brown in it. I mean, come on.
I know, right? Hey, want to get in the water? Give me some of that rock and roll bad love. I tell you, I love Lorraine Lewis. She is the one sexy mofo. And she'd be, if I was still around, she'd be in my band, and she'd be my white background singer, because she is bad love, and I love that song. Hey.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely edit that one out and use that as a great intro to anytime I play anything Steve Brown related. So kids, Lorraine Lewis, Steve Brown, thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for doing the video thing for me. I haven't done it in a while, so thanks for bearing with me while we get the technical stuff all worked out. What do you got there? Like an owl?
It's my pet lion.
I'm trying to
think. What do I? It's a gold lion.
Gold lion. Nice, yeah. Nice.
I just have a beautiful rose dipped in gold glitter.
That's cool.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I bought it for myself.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm single, like a single.
There you are. Right.
I've got this.
That's rad.
That's Mexican. That's a Mexican wrestling mask, right?
Heck yeah! You should see the Speedo outfit I have, the singlet I have to go with it.
Dude, well, I'm going to Mexico next week. Trixter, we're playing our first show in Mexico City ever at La Piedad, November 7th, and we're doing that Sands Rocks, that 80s festival in Cancun. So
congrats.
it'd be cool, but I want to get one of those masks. And of course, I'm going to have to get the singlet, the Speedo as well.
It is the best. It is the best. So, all right, kids. Well, happy Halloween. And thanks again for coming on the show. And while I put you guys backstage, you guys can stay or go, whatever you want to do. We are going to not only air for the first time here on This, That, and the Other radio show, vis-a-vis Dirty Radio Classics. It'll also stay here on the video. You get to see for the first time the premiere on this show, the Bad Love video. And I saved it to see it for the first time with everybody else watching right now. So this will be my first time seeing it because I like to kind of experience for the first time too. So feels like the first time.
Let us know how you love it.
I love it a lot. I love you guys both. And thanks for coming on the show. And you guys be safe out there. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right. This, That, and the Other radio show, dirtyradio.fm, channel 2, Dirty Radio Classics. And wait, I don't want to kick Steve out of the studio. Oh, I'm just going to remove him, and I'm going to remove Lorraine, and then I'm going to remove
your mind. I made it up for you. I've gotten good at goodbyes. I'm too done to cry. Your praise on fire. Don't you pull me into the flame. Too easy to call you a liar, but this bad love's bringing me down. Bad, bad love. I saw the warning signs, so I went running. Now you're alone in this game, and I'm winning.